Now at 5, a Joplin man is sentenced following a series of thefts and a high-speed chase. Plus, the Parsons, Kansas Police Department releases its annual crime report, and
a special master has been named to look over the documents seized from former President Trump's Florida home. I'm Natalie Brand with details on the independent reviewer and the deadline to complete the review.
State's most watched news starts now.
The suspect in a high-speed chase and a series of Joplin thefts from a senior living center, an apartment complex, and a hotel gets a suspended sentence. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. The suspect is Adam Gustafson of Joplin. Police arrested Gustafson in January after a safe stolen from a hotel was found near Cracker Barrel in Joplin. Police say Gustafson had fled in a stolen car and was suspected in the theft of a generator, tools, and other items. In a plea deal, Gustafson pleads guilty to receiving stolen property and gets 5 years probation. The Parsons Police Department has released their annual crime report for 2021 with data compiled from the Kansas Bureau of Investigation. The data shows the crime rate per capita is the lowest it's been since 2014. Violent crime is the lowest it's been since 2016. Property crime is the lowest since 2018. The numbers show that 2021 has the lowest amount of total crime reported since the PD started collecting data in 2003. The police chief says the hard work pays off.
But to be able to actually see some success for a lot of hard work, sweat, toil, missed days off, missed family events, a lack of vacation time, this actually is about as positive as it can get, in that circumstance.
You can view the entire report on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Grove, Oklahoma's police department has had several complaints with incidents in their downtown crosswalks. The police department has received calls about dangerous situations with the crosswalks on one of their main streets. The police chief says traffic is not always stopping for the pedestrians, but on the other hand, some pedestrians are not using actual crosswalks to go across the street. He says they're patrolling near the crosswalks and give warnings to vehicles and pedestrians.
The Garden Club has been working downtown in the flower beds, and so they've told us of numerous incidents where people have been close, near misses with cars hitting pedestrians. So obviously that makes us real concerned.
Morris says they're listening to resident suggestions to make the crosswalks safer. The Miami Regional Chamber of Commerce hosts the inaugural Women in Business Connection Conference. Professional and local speakers spoke on how to be authentically you. The conference at NEO College consists of general sessions and workshops throughout the day with vendors set up promoting and selling goods. The goal of the conference is to bring women together to celebrate the power of sisterhood.
6 years ago, I decided to leave academics and to form a consultancy to work with professionals whose careers are held back by the way they communicate.
Some of the workshops and session topics included networking with confidence, branding your authentic self, and embracing your authentic voice. Sam Lane joins us now with a first look at the weather.
Thank you very much, Dow. It was a pretty nice day across the area, just a few high clouds streaming by. We did have a few sprinkles and showers in the northwestern sections of our area today, but those have now moved off towards the east, away from us. And let's take a look at the football forecast. If you're heading down to Seneca, Missouri this evening at 7 o'clock, it's between Lamar and Seneca, 77 degrees at your cook-off and 74 degrees by your halftime, with nice and pleasant conditions. Just a few clouds are out there. If you're heading out to the lakes this weekend, we're looking at Elk City Lake about a foot below normal, also Big Hill Lake about a foot below normal, as well as Grand Lake. And if you go over to Beaver, they're a little bit more at 1.66 feet below normal. And then we're expecting conditions at Table Rock to be around 3.5 feet. Stay tuned because I have your forecast coming up straight ahead.
See you soon. Judge Eileen Cannon, a federal judge who was appointed by former President Donald Trump, has named a special master to review the documents the FBI seized while executing a search warrant at his Florida home last month. Reporter Natalie Brand has details.
A semi-retired judge from New York has been appointed to serve as the independent arbiter or special master who will review documents seized from former President Donald Trump's Florida home in August.
If it's going to be someone, he's excellent, has a good reputation, a little slow, which might matter here, but basically a very solid judge.
U.S. District Judge Raymond Dearie will have until November 30th to look through the more than 11,000 records, according to the court order, which also says the judge should prioritize the documents marked as classified.
Whether or not a document is classified is irrelevant. It's a question of mishandling national security information, even if they have been declassified.
The Department of Justice is still fighting the court's decision to block its access to the documents pending the review, claiming it puts its investigation on hold. The DOJ has filed a notice of appeal. An appeal would be heard by the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, where 6 of the 11 judges were appointed by former President Trump.
That could also be a favorable judicial audience for him.
Trump, in a radio interview Thursday, had a warning if he's indicted.
I think you'd have problems in this country, the likes of which perhaps we've never seen before. I don't think the people of the United States would stand for it.
Inviting the mob to return to the streets is exactly what happened here January 6, 2021.
Lawmakers are especially concerned about a rise in threats against federal and other law enforcement officers since the search at Trump's Florida residence. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Judge Cannon has ordered that Donald Trump will have to pay the entire cost for Judge Dearie since it was his request to appoint a special master. Trump's legal team proposed Dearie to be named the special master, and the DOJ did not reject him from the list of candidates. The Biden administration announced another $600 million in military aid for Ukraine, including weaponry to help the Ukrainian army maintain momentum. This comes as Ukrainian authorities are retrieving bodies from a mass burial site in an area recaptured from Russian forces. Graves number in the hundreds, and officials believe the majority are civilians, some of the bodies showing signs of torture. For the first time, President Joe Biden today met in person with the wife of WNBA star Brittany Griner and the sister of ex-Marine Paul Whelan, separately, as his administration works to free both from Russian prisons. Administration officials said they've made a substantial proposal to Russia, but it has not been accepted. Still ahead, to leave a tip or not.
Tap the screen or leave loose change. Technology is upping the pressure to leave a tip. I'm Elise Preston with the debate over how much gratuity to add and when.
And next in Healthwatch, how improving your own health could also have benefits for your pets. Topping today's Healthwatch, new evidence presented at the European Association for the Study of Diabetes shows consuming red and processed meats increases the risk for type 2 diabetes. Italian researchers suggest swapping in moderate amounts of fish and eggs as substitutes. Incorporating a lower or non-fat dairy like milk and yogurt were found to lower risk. A diet rich in whole grains, fiber, fish, and omega-3 fatty acids may reduce the risk of death from all causes for adults with type 2 diabetes. German researchers reviewed dozens of studies over a decade and linked these foods to favorable changes in their blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar levels, and anti-inflammatory effects. Is your pooch getting a little plump? Your dog, not your belly. A new study suggests if you get moving, so will your dog. Reporter Michael George has more.
11-month-old Cooper has tons of energy. It takes a lot for his owner, Connor Shaughnessy, to keep up with him.
He's very, very highly energetic, and we go out minimum 3 times a day, hour and a half per walk.
And when Connor exercises, Cooper exercises with him.
Whenever we go for runs, he's running at my side, and we just go until we're both tired.
New research suggests dog owners who are more active have more active dogs. And with more pets putting on pounds, researchers say that's a good thing.
Obesity in our companion animals in the long term can lead to several detrimental health impacts, such as cardiac disease, diabetes, mobility issues.
Obesity is a growing problem for pets. The Association for Pet Obesity Prevention estimates more than 100 million dogs or cats in the U.S. are overweight or obese. Sydney Banton from the University of Guelph authored this new international study that looked at dog owners living in France, Germany, the UK, Canada, and here in the U.S.
We're hoping that the results from this study encourage pet owners and veterinarians to promote both exercise and dietary habits. And it's been shown in humans as well that both together in combination are more successful in terms of weight loss than either one on its own.
Connor tries to keep Cooper at a healthy weight with diet and exercise.
You want to make sure they're going to live a nice, long, healthy life. You don't want any vet bills going up, and you want your dog to be happy.
And a healthy dog is a happy dog. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Experts say owners should talk to their veterinarian before starting any regular fitness routine for pets. Finally, some relief for infants and young children with eczema. A study published in The Lancet found more than half of children treated with a monoclonal antibody had at least 75% reduction in signs of eczema and itch. They also slept through the night instead of scratching. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, why FedEx is dropping its sales forecast by $500 million.
And there's a few showers on the radar. I'll be back to let you know if there's any more in our forecast, so stay tuned. Well, it was another warm summer day across the 4 states with lots of sunshine. Also a few clouds mixed in there too. Also some showers. We'll show you those on radar in just a moment, but let's take a look outside right now. Down in Seneca, Missouri, where they're going to have a big football game tonight with Lamar. Hope you enjoy that. And Indigo Sky Casino and Resort bringing us this picture of just a few alto-cumulus clouds out there right now. In Joplin, we made it up to 88 degrees today, starting out at 61, which was a little bit above normal, and also a little bit above normal on the highs. 98 back in 1954, so we can still get pretty toasty around here this time of year, and only a little over 1/3 of an inch of rain so far this month. And if that continues, we could end up being the second driest September in Joplin history. And of course, on the monthly recap, it's been above normal for 12 days this month so far. That's quite a few in the month of September already. Skywatch radar showing some showers up towards the north this afternoon. But notice as they get closer to our area, they start to fall apart. Right now, we're going to zoom in and show you one little shower near Lacine up in the north of Mound City over around Lincoln. Also just east of Butler, but that is it. Not a whole lot going on with radar, and that's probably going to be the trend for the next couple of days. This afternoon we were 9.2 on the allergies. Tomorrow a little bit better, 8.9. So at least that's some good news. Let's take a look at temperatures right now. It's still pretty toasty out there, mid-80s in Missouri, over in Arkansas, also in Arkansas, 84. Over in Oklahoma and Kansas, though, generally in the lower 90s with those southerly winds, bringing up a little bit deeper moisture right now in the dew points. It's still pretty comfortable out there with dew points in the upper 50s to around 60 degrees. So at least it feels a little bit comfortable out there with those warm temperatures. Right now in Joplin, we're sitting at 85, and it feels like 85 because the dew point is 61. Humidity is at 44%, and the pressure is currently falling. Your future track forecast for this evening, mostly fair, just a few isolated showers up to the north. And by tomorrow morning, lows will be in the upper 60s across our area. Notice the storms up to the north and west. And as they get a little bit closer to us, some of the models are forecasting some of these storms could affect our northern areas, like from Eureka, Yates Center up to Garnett, with highs tomorrow in the 90s out towards the west and 80s over there in Monette with 86. But I think this is kind of overdoing it. I really don't think we're going to see a lot of storm activity as we go through the day tomorrow. Hopefully I'm wrong, because we definitely need the rainfall. But right now, that's just one model. And then we're looking at temperatures in the 70s for Sunday morning. And then Sunday afternoon, right back into the heat and the furnace with temperatures close to 100 out towards the west. Lower 90s here in Joplin with 93, 94 degrees. And then as we go into Sunday night into Monday morning, generally lows in the 70s once again across our area. Over the next 7 days, 91 tomorrow. Don't forget, Webb City with the Christian Hetty Foundation event. And then on Sunday, 94. And look at that, Dow. We get close to 100 degrees next week. And the asterisk there on Wednesday is breaking the record for that date of 97 degrees. Hopefully a little bit cooler later on in the week, but we'll have to wait and see if that pans out.
And not much rain prospect in sight.
0 at this point.
Wow. Thanks, Sam. Coming up, the debate over tipping. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Roger Koch served in the U.S. Army in 2003 and 2004. The Carterville, Missouri native was stationed in Iraq, and we salute Sergeant Roger Koch, a 4-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, FedEx isn't feeling too optimistic about the future. The company says a slowing economy will cause it to fall $500 million short of its revenue target. There are a lot of issues at play here. The global economy has weakened, particularly in Asia and Europe, which has hurt FedEx's express delivery business. Here in the U.S., FedEx Ground Service is taking the hit because of the economy. California is set to become the first state to bar online companies from profiling children or using personal information in ways that could harm them physically or mentally. Governor Gavin Newsom said in a statement he signed a bill into law that will require tech companies to follow age-appropriate design code principles aimed at keeping children safe. Companies will eventually have to submit a data protection impact assessment before offering new online services, products, or features attractive to children. Tipping can be kind of a touchy subject. Originally meant to acknowledge standout service, nowadays the virtual tip jar seems to be everywhere. Technology has made it even easier to request or suggest gratuities, but as Elise Preston reports, generosity that peaked during the pandemic is starting to drop off.
I work in healthcare. Nobody tips me.
Sisters Leslie and Susan don't agree on tipping when it comes to purchases outside of a full-service restaurant.
Sometimes I tip just because they're nice to me, but seriously, I don't feel pressure.
Leslie feels it. She says even when swiping her card at kiosks, she always gives a little extra.
You didn't do anything. I just walked up to the window and bought it, but you're turning around like for me to leave you a tip. Okay.
I almost feel like I'm suckered in. You know, like I gotta give something, like I'm under pressure a little bit.
A recent survey shows tipping for takeout food peaked at the height of the pandemic. While that fell off, it's still up from 2019.
You know, with the pandemic, everything changed. Curb service, what were meant to be temporary fixes are now standards. So there is a gratuity that is often expected that goes along with that.
On average, Americans are tipping nearly 20% for sit-down meals. Gratuities dropped to about 14% on other goods and services. And etiquette expert Diane Gottsman says that's okay.
You're not expected to leave the same type of gratuity as you would if you're at a sit-down meal. But if you're grabbing a cup of coffee, if you just want to leave the change, if you want to tip up, or if you want to leave $1, by all means, feel free to do that.
While you may feel like you're being judged, Gottsman says the worker behind the counter may just be looking to help the next customer. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Consumer Reports says Americans are on pace to set an annual record for most complaints to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau about inaccuracies in their credit reports. Just over half of all complaints filed with the federal agency in 2020 and 2021 focused on credit scores. By law, consumers can get a free complete credit report once a year at annualcreditreport.com. A lawyer for Kanye West confirms the rapper and The Gap have prematurely ended their shoe and clothing partnership. West's lawyer sent a letter to the retailer saying it has not met some contractual obligations, including failing to sell certain clothes from West's Yeezy line in Gap stores. Gap did not immediately respond to a request for comment. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, Steve Hartman goes on the road with a heartwarming story about the power of a mother's love. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on the Grove Police Department cracking down on crosswalk violations. Plus, some Southeast Kansas organizations are receiving state grants to help survivors of domestic violence. And it's time for more Friday Night Football. We're going to hear from the head coach of the Lamar Tigers as they take on the Seneca Indians. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. And as people might expect, it's going to be a bit warm, I guess, if they're going out to the football games tonight. Not too bad.
Absolutely. No rain, at least down in Seneca or anywhere in the area for some games. And tomorrow, 91. Isolated storms possible up towards the west and north of us. And then on Sunday, 94. But look at that. I thought we were close to, done with the 100-degree temperatures, but it's going to be close to that early next week. Even a record-setting temperature of 97 on Wednesday. Maybe a little bit cooler on Thursday and Friday, but look at next week. Records on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And if these models verify, this could go on for quite some time. So we desperately need some rainfall, but looking at the forecast, doesn't look like it's going to happen in the near term.
No time soon. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 6. Let's make it a great evening.